Hey, this is Q, and this is
MV Red.
and this is Open Book. Open Book is our weekly vlog show for authors, writers, publishers, or whoever just have a story. And every week we always showcase an author with a new book, or a writer with a new script, or just somebody with a great story they want to tell. And that's what we do every week. Today, me and Envy decided we were going to talk about something that really needs to be talked about. And today's topic is about social networking, or how to network on a social network, or how you want to put it, Envy.
Etiquette. Social networking etiquette. 101.
Listening to the world famous DJ and Love. DJ and Love.
Today, Envy's going to take over because she has a lot to say. We talked about it earlier this week, and I think she has very, very good points. So I want you guys to pay attention, listen to what she has to say. Here's a lady who is just doing it all. She's written 3 books. Her next book will be, the next one release will be when?
July 17th.
July 17th. And we're going to talk about that later on the show as well. But as far as like social network etiquette, yeah, that's a heavy topic because a lot of this is getting out of hand. And you know, she's going to do her thing. So Envy, it's your show.
Alright, so we want to talk about social networking etiquette today. And as we know, 2 of the largest social networks that people are on right now is this Twitter and Facebook. And the buzz is heavy on both sites. What we see a lot of times, especially being an author, publisher, businesswoman, business person, is that people get onto these social networks and they use them as an open forum, and they don't know how to really separate the business from the personal aspect of the social networking. The purpose of social networking is to be able to form bonds with other people, people who may be in your network, that may be your customers, your consumers, and also other business people who you may connect with in order to sell your products or your services. So it's very important, you know, as we discuss, to have these conversations about social networking etiquette because it comes up quite often. I know me as an author, one of my biggest pet peeves with social networking is when individuals come onto my personal page and they don't form a bond with me. Yet they want to post their links. It's what we call it, spam. They spam you all day long with their book links, their business ads, without having a connection, without having a conversation with you first. And it makes it difficult because as humans, the first thing that we want to do is place that in a spam. We want to disconnect from that. So that's the first topic that I want to talk about, is spamming. If you don't know the definition of spamming, you might be a spammer.
Well, see, I'll put it this way. That's a good point. Actually, that's a good point. If you don't know the definition of spamming, you may be a spammer. But then you got people who do know the definition of spam, and they're the worst spammer.
Yeah, so they do it anyway.
So, wow, that's it. I never looked at it like that.
Well, in the book industry, I'll give you an example. Authors, you know, such as myself and you, we come out with books and we set these release dates. You know, usually they're on the Tuesday. To
like
keep
movies.
Up, right. The book is released. And what do you know? You're in different groups, and not only are you in groups, but you have your personal page, but all of a sudden an author you've never seen all year long will come, and the day that their book is released, or the day before, the week prior to, all you see is ad.
Well,
it's a link to Amazon and all these other places with their book. No hello, how are you? No introduction, just I know you're gonna love my book. One click it today. Yeah. How do you feel about that? Do you ever get that on your page? As a matter of fact, I know you do because I looked at your page today.
You did?
Yes.
See,
and you have a few.
See, the thing is, well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not. Well, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a big FB person, a Facebook person, or a Twitter person. I don't even have a Twitter account. You know, my business partner tell me I need to get one, but I'm not like that, honestly. Because I've been to when I go to real social sites, I go to real social sites. Like I'm a member of the International Trade Show DJs. I'm also a member of a lot of conscious sites. My biggest beef is when they spam. Though when I mean conscious, I mean we have forums on how to fix the problems in our community, and we get those spams too. It's the same like the tech feds and all this kind of stuff. You know, you're right. I don't pay me. I really don't take it personal like that. I really don't, but I do think it's a nuisance.
And I mean, different people handle it differently. And the reason why I brought you up, I didn't want to throw you under the bus, but
no,
you can almost always tell when the person is someone that you're connected with versus someone who's just dropping links.
Oh,
you see what I mean? And me coming and visiting your page, I can tell the people, I can separate the two because you know the ones who are more comfortable, there's somewhat of a dialogue that goes on, and the ones who actually just come on and spam are just sort of bam in your face. So here's my link.
How can you tell? Very good question. So that's my question. How can you tell that?
There's no introduction. There's no dialogue. It's just very vague.
Okay. Well, how about this? We're going to do this. For those who are authors and writers who think you need to spam no more. You can come to us. Yeah. You come on this show.
Come
this,
here.
This is the person where we put this together
and
for that reason.
We'll teach you how not to spam.
And we'll help promote you. That's the purpose of this show. It's like, you don't have to, be a nuisance like that.
There's a difference between, I'm glad you brought that up, because there's a difference between promoting and spamming. And many authors don't know the difference.
I don't. I'm glad you said that. Oh.
I consider myself an effective promoter, meaning that I tend to promote my material, but there's ways to do it without being so in your face. And one of the examples, and the reason why I say in your face is, bam, here it is. Here's my book. Here's the link. Go buy it. It's very intrusive. It's almost
that's what
commanding.
Shane was talking about. He said the same thing.
It's commanding. This is the best book of the year. They have taglines like this: the best, the hottest, this fire. Purchase this. You'll love it. There's no connection. When you read the post, you can see that there's no connection between you and the person. There's no. Remember this conversation we had on mental illness?
Oh yeah.
Well, here's a book that I would recommend to you. That touches further into that subject. There's some dialogue on there. A lot of effective promoters, and I know quite a few. I noticed that what they tend to do. Here's a good trick. It's like candy. What a lot of effective promoters do is they will take their idea and they'll get their point across. But what they'll do is they'll take that book, that same book that they want to promote, whether it be on mental illness or whatever. It could just be purely entertainment. They will take an aspect from that book and create dialogue. And the way you create dialogue is you may create a post or in your case, like you said, a forum that discusses that topic, where at some point you will be able to mention your book.
I think that's a good way. I like that. I would like that.
You get
like
people
that.
talking before you throw it in their face, before you just shove it down their throat. Here's my book, buy it.
That sounds more professional and more friendly.
Right.
Friendly.
Less intrusive.
Yeah, less
intrusive. And chances are, if you just are a chronic spammer, you're going to get ignored. People will tend to filter. Just think about what you do when you do go to FB and some of these other sites and you see all these ads.
I only go like once a month too. You're right.
Yeah, you ignore them, and that's what they are. They're ads.
Oh, like a good friend of mine I've been knowing. He's a conscious brother. His name is Mr. Carlos Muhammad. And he's gonna be on the show next month. He has a book coming out, but he just released it. He's gonna be on the show. And I think Mr. Carlos Muhammad, a good friend of mine, he has a social group called Love for Self, and he always posts something really, really a thought-provoking post. But guess what? he has never asked somebody about one of his books.
But people will associate, they will eventually know about his book. He doesn't even have to say buy my book. The fact that he has a dialogue, he creates a connection, he established his brand.
Real nice, wrapped up tight. Giving me a heart attack. It's the kind of...
That's another key component to social networking etiquette. A lot of people don't realize establishing your brand will do a lot of the work for you.
Right.
If you actually focus more on your brand and less on a onesie, twosie type of sale thing, though those days are pretty much over with, I would think.
But we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
The difference between that's something I don't want to talk about as far as like the hustle.
The hustle mentality.
Right, the hustle mentality. You know the hustle. If you hustle, the hustle only lasts as long as you make it.
Right.
I don't like that kind of stuff. Even as a filmmaker myself, or doing shooting videos and stuff like that, it's people with that hustle, quick dollar mentality. And the hustle only lasts as long as the dollar lasts as long as the hustle. And it's really bad for business.
Right. You want a long-lasting effect, and that's where branding is much more valuable than the hustle per se. I mean, you have to have a hustle spirit in the fact that you have to be a go-getter and you have to constantly pursue. But there's certain aspects of the hustle mentality that we need to learn how to remove and take to expand our brand versus just taking that, I'll sell you a book tomorrow, but I'll never know anything about you the next day. I mean, Shane Cox is a good...
I was just about to say that, Shane.
He's like, the question he always makes me think about is, okay, Envy, you're going to sell this person a book, but how are you going to attract this customer?
That's right. For the record, Shane Cox is also, he's our other producers, 3 producers of the show. It's me, Quentin Tyson, it's Ms. Envy Red, and the 3rd producer is Mr. Shane Cox. And I've learned a lot from Shane. Shane is, he's on my case all the time, but I'm glad you mentioned it.
How are you going to try?
How are you going to try? And he always says, that's who taught me about the hustle. He was like, the hustle the dollar only lasts as long as the hustle.
Right. Once that book is sold or that product or service is sold, how are you going to go back then and reconnect? And that's where part of that social networking etiquette comes in, because social networking has taken such a big scale. No longer do we have to just hit the street, with our products. We have the whole World Wide Web at our disposal. So knowing how to really effectively communicate with our target audience is really going to make a difference in pushing our social presence.
Yo, pay attention. Love is in the